Hey there, I'm Kat Mak, and welcome to Anything That Matters. And I'm so excited to have Laura Ordile from Montana. She is a mindset coach, master hypnotist, which is what I really want to tap into. Did you know that she can help you with post-traumatic stress disorder? God, I wish I knew you when I was burnt. Yeah, nearly lost my life. Took me a long time to get over it, work through the fire trauma. IBS, really, through hypnotism, which is really cool. And anxiety, a word that has been thrown around so flippantly these days. There's two words that I hear post-pandemic is anxiety and ADHD and mental health. Three things. This is personally, I'm just talking personally. So, and you're an astrologer. Let's just try, I think, the astrology bit I kind of love. So
Yes.
I don't know where this is headed. So thankful that you came and you said yes for us to have a chat. I want to know a little bit about your background story. What's the jam? Talk to me.
Well, my back story is I was in corporate for 23 years, a bit like you, and I really wanted to get out of it, but I kept stalling myself. It's not time yet. Well, when this happens, or when I get to this place and I feel secure enough, and all of those things that we all tell ourselves for so long, and the universe kind of stepped in and did it for me a little bit because some things kind of all came together at one time where they were going to be fading out my job, supposedly. Apparently that still hasn't happened, and I've been gone over a few years. But not just mine, but my department
Yeah.
was going to be changed. And about that time I found out that my daughter was pregnant with I have two older grandchildren through my son, but she was pregnant with my grandson. And so it seemed like the perfect time to be done, to just be done, because there were things that happened in the last few years with that corporation that it just didn't feel good anymore. It hadn't felt good for a while, but it really came to a point where it's like, okay, this is different. Something's different. And I just came to the point where I thought, you know what? I don't have to put up with this stuff, to put it nicely, say the nice word. I don't have to do this. I can go do what I want to do. And I sat down and literally figured out, can I do this financially? What would it look like? How's it going to be? I don't want to end up a bag lady as we all channel down ourselves and go into that trip that happens. And so I reeled that back in and said, okay, let's do this. And I have been in such joy for almost 2 years. Well, it's been 2 years. Yeah, it's been 2 years. And I am just
You,
thrilled with it.
you mentioned, you had a blockage and you're like, do I not? And it was being forced upon you. Was it be the universe, or you were putting it out there for something to actually then push you out? Because you said just a second ago that, you know what, interestingly enough, they still have your role. So had you not, and this is as females, and I'm just purely talking to females, we have this ingrained vision that, you know what, everything needs to be perfect. Should I not? And we have this what if itis in our head. And a lot of the times we follow our brain versus following our gut. Our brain says we should do this because we are wired as naturally born carers to do X, Y, Z. So here is another example of an amazing woman that said after 25 or so odd years in the industry and said, you know what, I have to do this. I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Money or no money, you have a choice. You don't have
Oh,
to do
yeah.
this. And you dived. How did that even come out? Went straight into it and gone, you know what? I'm going to follow my gut. And you followed your gut with what next?
Yes, I left, and I had been doing some of the work on the astrology and intuitive side for a little while. I've been doing that for a good long time now. If I think back, it's got to be 20 years.
Wow.
And so that's been there. The astrology maybe a little less, but intuitively working in that. And then about 5 years ago, I decided, and they're gonna laugh, but I decided, hey, I need to do something. I want something really practical that maybe the woo people, if they're not woo, I could still work with them. And so I dove into hypnosis. That was my very practical thing that I dove into. And then through the course of things, a little over a year ago, as you do, and you're looking and honing your craft and doing all
Mhm.
those things, I came across the missing link, that last little puzzle piece in working with trauma. Because when I originally went into doing hypnosis, one of the things that I loved about it was that I'm from a military family. And so
Oh,
they
wow.
worked yeah, they worked with people. The guy that I trained with specifically said that, a lot of the work that he did was with some special forces and some other things. And he could do it because he didn't have to know their story, because sometimes they're not allowed to tell their story.
Mhm.
And so he could still help them. And I thought, "Ah, that's exactly what I want to do. That's where I want to help." And then through the course of learning, and of course then studying specifically, I worked with this woman who is crazy amazing, and really knows her stuff around trauma, PTSD, CPTSD. And it was just like magic happened. And I thought, yes, this is it. And my world has opened up so much to learn that so many people, PTSD, CPTSD, ADHD, all the labels, all the level
Labels.
alphabet soups that are out there. Yes, sometimes they can help you go, okay, at least I'm not crazy. I do have this thing. But then you make the choice with that label. Am I going to live by that label? Am I going to live underneath that label? Or is that just going to be like, okay, that's there, but now how am I going to deal with the symptoms that are, the laundry list of things that's underneath that label? And that's where I come in. That's what I love. And I've learned that it's not just military, it's not just first responders. It's people,
It's
everyday
everyone.
people out there all the time dealing with
Mhm.
so many things that they are so unaware of. They
Mhm.
don't realize that they're not making progress,
Mm.
that they're stopping themselves from getting
Mm.
better because of the subconscious stuff that's going on in their mind. And when I started to learn more and more about that, I'm like, oh my goodness, how come I don't, how does not everybody know this stuff? Because this is like how we as humans operate.
Yeah.
And we don't have our own operator's manual that says, page 25, this is
What?
happening, what I do.
Subsection 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. Wouldn't it be good if there was one? That'd be really cool. I think you mentioned
Right?
you mentioned the laundry list. The laundry list of things that we have. That is so true. It's a really good analogy. And the subconscious mind, um, are we too scared to tap into it?
I think some people don't understand it, and they're afraid that it's going to be mind control of some sort, because what they know of hypnosis is clucking like a chicken up on the stage or dancing or whatever it is. But
Woo!
what they have to understand is that person that's clucking like the chicken gave permission. They
Mhm.
gave permission to that person
Mhm.
to, all right, let's have fun, do whatever, I'm open. And so they are still in control, and
Mhm.
they can stop that at any time. They can change that. They can do whatever they want. We are always in control of ourselves, even if it's our unconscious, our subconscious that's in control, some part of us that we don't want in control of it. But our subconscious is crazy amazing, and it builds things from the time we're tiny, and we have like that hard drive that's put into place, and all of our programming is kind of put into place, and it's like files inside files inside files inside files. And just like on your computer, you don't know what's in some, you go looking and go, I have no idea what this is about. What's in here? And you start looking and it's like, oh, I don't need that. I don't need that
That's
anymore.
so
Why
that's
have
so
I
true.
still holding on to that?
Can you
you
just
know?
imagine if we used more of our brain?
I
Like
know, isn't it crazy?
we only use just a small portion of our brain. It would be just, I think I would go loopy. I think
Oh,
because I'm so wired 24/7, I would go loopy. I'm like, seriously, where am I? What am I doing? It would be
oh,
just insane.
I think it would just open up such an amazing awareness and such a connective, we would understand the connections to everything. And it would just, I think it would be like, wow, this is incredible. Who knew?
Who
Who
knew?
knew?
So you went out at any age and you went, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this work. So
Yep.
so you went, you learned, I dare say, because you loved it, it came easily. Would that be correct?
Yeah,
The
I
learning
do.
came easy, not the practical. That's different. Because the practice, you're going to make mistakes. But the learning probably was joy.
Oh
Was it?
yeah, I love learning. It's funny. I am that person. I'm the kid in the front of the class with the arm up going, wait a minute, explain that part again. I probably drove kids crazy in school because
Oh,
it would be
chat.
like, yeah, I get that part, but now stop right there, explain the next part to me. All right, got that. Now wait, hold on, back up, explain this little part. How does that connect to this? And so I'm kind of that detailed person. It's not just about,
Well, you're the
oh, look,
analytical. You're
that's
the analytical mind. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need people like you. We need people
so
like you. Yeah.
so yeah,
Otherwise, the
it's
world won't
pretty
work.
no, yeah.
We all
So
need a.
I do love knowing how things operate and what's going on. And so just that, it was like learning that, oh my gosh, we're struggling every day to get up and over this mountain of stuff that we're dealing with in life. And we're trying to make the changes and we're literally like climbing this mountain, and it's hard and it's difficult, and we stop and we slide back and all these things. And with this, with the hypnosis now, it's like someone went, come here. There's a door right here. And there's a tunnel that goes to the other side. Take this way. And it's
Oh
like,
my
oh
God,
my
you're Alice in
goodness.
Wonderland.
It's just amazing. And it's so you just go through to the other side, and you don't have to spend all the time climbing and going. You know what? I had someone contact me the other day
I was
reaching out
going to
about
ask
some.
you, I'd love an example. Obviously, names won't be named, but I'd love an example.
Well, I had someone, this is a little bit of a different example, but he was talking to me, and he wanted some help with he was actually working with PTSD, CPTSD,
Uh-huh.
and he had asked about PTSD, and I said, yeah, I can give you a lot of information about it, anytime you want to chat or what. And he sent me this message back that said, well, you don't probably understand, but there is actually this thing called CPTSD that's out, complex PTSD, and it can take years and years and years and years to actually heal from. You've got to be delicate. I sent him a message back that said, actually, you're wrong. I understand what CPTSD is. It can be eliminated in a matter of hours or weeks. It literally, I work with people on a 6-week basis right now. And I just dealt with someone who had PTSD, who we wrote out, I think, 17 big symptoms like hypervigilance, IBS, insomnia, panic attacks, things like that. I mean, there was a lot in there. And in 6 weeks, they were all gone.
So
All
how do they okay, that's interesting. Because hypnosis is really cool. It's real. It's not woo-woo. It's not hoo-ha. It is a method to be able to help you of what you're telling me with the issues that you need assistance with. And I don't know that the world's tapped into it yet. I
Oh, it
really
actually
don't.
it's been around for a long time, but it's kind
Been
of got shoved.
forever.
It was doing amazing. They were doing amazing work back, I believe it was World War I even. I know for sure
Really?
World War II, but they were working with soldiers and coming off of the battlefield, people who they had gone into spontaneous blindness. They had shell shock, which was PTSD. They were just shut down, and they were doing hypnosis for them, bringing them out of it within 5-6 hours, coming into being okay, and going forward.
How do you continue being okay? How do they then continue? Because can you go back? Because I know, traditionally, I mean, I know a lot of friends that have used hypnosis to stop alcohol, to stop drinking, to stop smoking. And there's only one that I know of that has had hypnosis 4 times and he still smokes. The rest don't even care. So how do you not go back? Or is it, do you need maintenance? Like, how does it work? I'm curious.
Well, it depends on, it always depends on the person. But what
Yeah.
happens is, in the process of in the hypnosis that I do,
Mhm.
what happens is, if you can imagine, I'm going to give you maybe 2 little examples real
Okay,
quick, just
cool.
kind of metaphors.
Yeah.
If you have a puppy,
Mhm.
right? You have a puppy, and that puppy comes up and wants attention, wants attention, wants attention. You're not giving the puppy attention. It goes off and pees on your floor, chews up your shoes, does all the bad things.
Uh-huh.
If you give
Just
it
like my
attention,
dog.
if you give it attention,
True.
it's going to stay with you. You're going to have a good time. It's going to be a good experience. And so, what that little puppy represents in us is, from the time we're little, like I was talking about a little while ago, we start
Uh-huh.
to develop things in our life. So maybe when you're a year old, something happens. Maybe your parents have an argument, and your subconscious, its main job is to keep you safe. And so what it does is, it comes out in that moment when you need it most, and it says, I've got you. And it kind of brings this other little version of you out, a little armored version, to say, it's okay, you're all right. And then you get to kind of go behind that and move on in life. Well, there's that little version of you created right there, a little part of you. And then you move along, maybe you start school, you get bullied, another little part comes out, protects you, you move on. So it's like the little Russian dolls, one inside the other. We have a lot of parts inside of ourselves. Unfortunately, sometimes they get stuck in those moments of trauma. And so they're hurting and upset, angry, sad. So if you think about, maybe one of those parts is a teenager. Here's another little metaphor for you. Okay, our subconscious is running everything in our lives. So if you've got this little part that's a teenager, think about when you were a teenager, or if you've had a teenager, they can get kind of pissy about things, and
Yeah,
they want
Vic.
things the way they want it, and they will get
Mine's turning
vicious.
21.
And they will get vicious. And so what happens is, you have this little teenager that is in control at this point, and says, you know what? You're going to have IBS because you are not listening to me. So here you go. Or, oh my gosh, you are going to be this angry, mean person now because you won't listen. You won't come in and have that conversation with me. So I'm doing this, and it's an angry little part of you that is going to do what it can to try and bring you internal to have that conversation. And what I do is, I kind of facilitate that conversation. I take you to the place where you are relaxed enough that you can have that conversation with whatever part, with the 1-year-old, with the 15-year-old, with uh, you know some maybe version of yourself that you're not even aware of way back whenever. And when you come into the awareness of what happened back then, whether you remember it or not, because sometimes, again, our mind is going to protect us. So you might come out of it not really remembering what happened, but it's like a switch has flipped. It's changed, and it's not going to go back to the way it was, because you cleared or reintegrated that part that needed it, and you are whole again. And so sometimes the interesting part there is, if you've dealt with something like PTSD for a long time, you've had anxiety forever, you don't know how to live at that point without anxiety. How do I function going out in groups again? How do I manage this? Or you've had IBS, and you don't, oh my gosh, I don't have to plan my life around the bathroom. What do I do now?
You
And
have
so the
separation
support.
anxiety from not having anxiety.
So there's a little bit of support usually that kind of comes in at that point. But most of the time what happens is people will go, boom, oh, oh, okay. That's changed. Everything's changed. All of those symptoms are no longer necessary because you understand now. You've come into an awareness. You've come into the knowledge of what needed to be known. And so that's gone. It's like when you get a little sliver or a weed, maybe, you have a little weed that's down deep. And what happens sometimes is a lot of the other treatments that happen, they're great. They're wonderful sometimes, but they kind of treat it as clipping off little parts of the top of that weed. And so this goes away a little bit, but then maybe something comes up over here and it doesn't go so well, or this comes back or something. So you have to dig down and get that little root, that little something that's down there. And boom, then the whole thing, the laundry list is
I
gone.
love the analogy, the laundry list. I love
Yeah.
that. I'm so gonna, with all your authority and yeah, okay, I'm so gonna be using that.
Yeah.
The subconscious mind, what you're talking about is so amazing, and the work that you do would be so um, gratifying. I would assume that you would, because you're changing lives. You're doing a couple of things, and I'm going to put a business twist on this. Not only have you stepped out of your comfort zone and gone, you know what, I'm taking a stance, I'm doing what I want at any age, but you've gone, you know what, I actually have a gift. I love it. It's in my gut. I'm going to learn it. And I'm going to run this as a business. And you know what? There is nothing wrong with that. There
Oh,
is
no.
nothing wrong with that. And that's what I love about doing what I do and seeing women's lives transform from getting into their genius zone by doing exactly
Well,
what you said. You said you were mentored. I spoke to someone. You mentioned that earlier. I know someone that did something, and you went and learned, did the craft, and now you're practicing it yourself. And the beauty of it, of what you said, was really interesting. You said astrology. I've been doing that forever because kind of something that I loved. However, hypnosis, kind of the subconscious mind, they kind of fall together, they're kind of parallel, they kind of fall together. I'm going to learn this in a very short time because I have intuition, and
yeah.
I will then use it as my craft. And so the moral of the story there is you don't need millions and millions and millions of years to do this. You
Yep.
don't need millions and millions of learning to do this. You can learn, go, do, fall on your face, make mistakes, and go, oh, I've never had that client before. I'm going to do it differently that way. I dare say you probably have. And when you were talking about different analogies with different people, my brain's thinking, wow, you would be really good for. You could be a good for. You'd be really, you could fix this. You could fix that. However, you can't fix the world. A person needs to also be ready for the change. I can't
It's wonderful.
force someone in your face. They won't come.
No, no. And see, this is the thing that and I won't work with anyone that's not willing. You have to be willing. It can't be from somebody else saying, oh, they said I need to fix this or I got to do this or no, I will work with, and I don't care where you're at. I don't have to have you clean and sober and perfect and all those things because I just want to get you to the place where you can be okay and function and do the things that you need to do. And there's a great group actually that works it's Catch PTSD, which is
Mhm.
a group I'm a part of now, and it's all the people trained to do a lot of what I do, and it's amazing. All over the world. It's people from all over the world. And but it's so wonderful to work with people and to use all my tools. And something you said is so funny because in the woo world, as a professional intuitive astrologer, some people will say, well, you should just, you hear that. Well, why are you charging to heal people, help people, guide people, whatever? You would not say that if you go to the doctor. Why are you charging me to make me feel better? Why? No, you go, you want to feel better, they're going to help you. That's what everybody who's doing the work that they're doing. They're trying to help, they're trying to do something, and they're trying to make a living for themselves. So I never feel bad about when I pay to learn something, and I never feel bad for people to pay me. But I went through that too, where it's like, oh, I'm just I don't know, let me just discount it for. I literally had to tell myself at one
Yeah.
point, you are not allowed to discount or do free this month at all. And I had to get through that month. And then I was okay with it. And then I'm
That's
like,
where I
oh,
come
okay.
into play.
Like,
Because
okay,
I'm
I'm
like,
good. I'm good. But one
yeah,
of the things I love too with business people, oh my goodness, I love to work with business people, especially entrepreneurs and people who, when they get stuck, they're like, I'm doing all the things. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. It's not happening. I don't understand. I can't make progress. I love that because right up here is where we can go in, hit the reset button, and then the road is cleared and you're going to make the progress that you want to make. I
yeah,
love that
because
part.
we all get blocks. I'm not going to say
Yeah.
my life is perfect. Perfection doesn't even, in my way, in my opinion, that word doesn't even exist. It was created so we can just have overwhelm. It was somebody said somewhere up there, let's just use this book, let's just put perfect in the language, in the English language, just to make people go crazy. So we can go, I need to be perfect. No, you don't. You don't need to be perfect. I wish it was scrapped from the language altogether. So, question for you. You do so much and help so many. And I love the fact that you said you deal with a lot of entrepreneurs because there's a lot of us out there trying to make our own jam in this crazy world called life, and where the world is around us changing as we are talking right now. And we don't know where we're going to be headed. And yes, you can go out and build your own brand, your own business, do whatever you want. The choices are yours. You just need to make the choice. And yes, you will fall on your face. If there are people out there that, have, and we all have trauma, I would be lying if I said I didn't have it. We all have trauma. What is one tip that you can give to somebody out there that can help them today, right now? Just something small. Or a person that it doesn't have to be doesn't necessarily have to be in hypnosis. It could be your journey as an entrepreneur as well, because you are gifted and you are sharing your craft because you have this gift, and that is a beautiful thing. And you mentioned the global PTSD group called, what was it? Catch PTSD, which I'm like, that is cool. That's good. That's a cool group.
It's got all kinds of people. I mean, so that you can go find the person that you connect with. A lot of people have put, recordings up so you can get free recordings, or they have a little video of themselves so you can get to kind of have an idea. There's people in Scotland and Canada and the US and everywhere there's people. And they all do different things. Some are military, some do groups. It's crazy amazing. But that whole group, when you go in and you work with one of those people, you actually have that whole group behind you too, because we're all supporting each other to be able to really do the best job that we can for everyone. It's kind of a big mission, for all of us to really help the people that need it so that we don't have to keep living and suffering and being in a way that that you don't need to be. You don't need to. Okay, here's my tip. Here's one of the things I need everyone to understand
I'm
and do
listening.
and be. Do not ever let anyone tell you that you are too broken to be healed. That is not true. And don't ever let anyone tell you that you just have to learn to live with it. You're just going to have to learn to function with that, to be that way, to have that in your life. No, you do not. No, you do not. 99% of the time, you do not have to
I'm
do that.
so thankful that you said that. I'm so thankful because that is so true. I have a series called the I'm Too Pretty series where I was taught, well, and I wrote a book about it, or co-wrote a book about I was too pretty. At 22, I was taught I was too pretty to be in the industry. You need to just zip out and go somewhere else where all the pretty girls go. And I'm like, what the heck? Who are you to tell me otherwise? But that changed my whole life.
Yeah.
Did I build it up? Did I then put it in my gut and move on and do all that? Yeah, I probably needed you back then. I don't know where I would have been. I could have done things differently.
Almost done.
In any event,
Yes.
I know we're winding down. I can see the signs at the back.
Sorry, my husband walked in and was asking me some questions. He's not supposed to do that, but he did
this is
it.
the thing. This is the thing with the internet. When you're authentic and you're real, stuff happens.
I told you it's been a week. It's been a wild week. And so,
Has
you know,
it?
all the things that never happened have been happening this week. And it's just like, okay.
So you need to
Actually,
ask.
it's wonderful. He's cooking me supper. He's cooking my dinner right now.
Oh
So
my
he's
God,
allowed.
that is good. Can I have one of those that cooks me dinner?
Yeah. So he's like, what time do you want to eat? You know? And so I was just like, oh, yeah, we'll be done in just a little bit.
Oh, how
So.
far is Montana to Melbourne? Quite a distance. Okay. We'll have to do e-food via the internet and I'll just get
Yes,
phone.
yes. So
Thank you so
but
much for joining me. I really appreciate you and what you do. I think it's very important to listen to your heart and your gut. And if you are feeling stuck, you don't have to be stuck, is what you just said. You don't have to be stuck and you don't have to know everything. You need to reach out to the people that have done it before you, like you. And
yes,
stuff will come
absolutely.
up.
And that's the other thing is ask for help. Everyone somewhere along the way needs to ask for help. And you know what? If you're there trying to do it all yourself, you might bring yourself into overwhelm again. And you might be so determined that it's like, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it myself. But there's absolutely, it takes almost more courage to just say, I need a little help.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what a mentor does is they
Mhm.
walk with you and they guide you and they show you,
Mhm.
I've been there, let's do this, you're going to be okay. Because
Mhm.
my goal is always to find that center for someone that says, no matter what's going on around me, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, you will be okay. That is so true. For a long time, I was that person. I can do everything myself. And that
Me
causes
too. Me
trauma.
too.
That causes
Me
trauma
too.
in itself. I can do everything myself. I'm invincible. I'm amazing. I'm fantastic. Not fall on your face. Poof, and you're wondering, why does your neck hurt? Why does your back hurt? What's going on? Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. I didn't ask for help to pick up 20 kilos of potatoes or whatever it is, or,
Yeah.
whatever. On that note, I will actually just mention one more thing. I, and I don't know why I feel the need to just bring it up. It's just coming out. When your car breaks down, all of a sudden you find the money to fix your car. So paying for your health and your well-being should be so much of a priority, and our world would not be in this place. It's okay to pay to play.
Absolutely.
So I'm
Absolutely.
glad you
And
charge.
yeah, well, and
You're running a business.
yeah, what if all of that stuff that you've been dealing with for so long, whether I don't care if it's weeks, months, years for a lot of people, sometimes all your life, people have been dealing sometimes with anxiety all their life. They just think that's how they are. But what if in as little as a few weeks, all of that was gone and you could feel different, move differently in your life, deal differently with everything? Would that not be worth it? Would that
Yeah,
really truly not be worth the investment in
yeah,
yourself? Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah, yeah. It's a journey and it's a work in progress because people go out and spend $20,000 on a holiday and guess what? Your brain still goes with you and your brain comes back.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So
I
thank
agree
you
with you.
so much. On that note, go and
Thank
enjoy
you.
your night. And I will also say that Laura's backdrop is her backyard. Damn, that's cool.
It
You can
is.
just
It
imagine
is.
waking up to that. Wow.
Yeah. It's
I look
beautiful.
at
I
that
love
and I just feel so calm. Green's my favorite color. We've got the same color, aren't
it
we?
too. It's mine too. It's
It's
my favorite color too.
it
Yeah.
makes me
That's
feel so calm. It's my happy place. When I open the wardrobe today, I'm like, what am I going to wear? What version of green am I going to wear? It's always a version of green.
well, green is a wonderful I'm a color coach too, and I use color as
Me
a way to
too.
actually access your subconscious quick and easy. I have a wonderful free guide that's on my website that you can
Ah, that is
get
cool.
a
You know what?
grab.
I'm going to drop that on a link below. That'd be really cool for people to access the free color guide.
Yeah,
It's like a
it's a
personality check thing.
wonderful way. I love it.
I'm
It's so
so all about the
simple.
color. People don't understand that if you're wearing the wrong color and it doesn't open up your body, I think that's 30 years of retail, fashion retail. I don't know, maybe that's my brain. I love, look, in a nutshell, something that nobody knows about me. I love dressing people. I can see
Oh,
you and I can go, okay, I know what fits, I know what doesn't fit, I know what you should be wearing. I don't know, I just have it in me. I don't know. It's a thing. It's a thing that I love doing it forever and a day as a kid, as a youngster.
I love
My girlfriends would take me shopping and go, what should I wear? Men as well. Every partner's done it as well. Okay, let's go shopping. I'm like, oh, I'm spending somebody else's money. That is even
That's perfect because
better.
I don't do that very well. I can do a lot of things well, but I'm very much the basic person of okay, just get me into some clothes that are gonna look okay and I don't look like a disaster. And if I can do that, I feel pretty good.
Well, no, you've done very well. So on that note, have an awesome morning, awesome evening, awesome afternoon, wherever it is you're coming from. Enjoy your night. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. What a fun conversation.
I know. We've got to do this again. See ya.
Okay, I'm ready.
Cool. Bye for now.